Honor and respect, honor and respect. Voodoo is a tradition of action. That is why most people will say, I serve Guinan, rather than to say, I'm a voodoo saint or a voodoo practitioner. Now, all religions are ideally a way of life, but voodoo is most adamantly so. Service is an action. That is how we describe our tradition in terms that refer to action. Voodoo is something you live rather than simply do. It is not a tradition you can learn passively. You need to dig right in and get your hands dirty, so to speak. And during ceremonies, everything is based on actions salutes, dancing, drumming, singing, trancing veves. We do not have congregation members sitting as someone preaches. Everyone is involved in action and activity. Every day of the week is sacred to a particular Loa or group of Loa. Sunday is God's day, and voodoo practitioners vary on what happens during Sundays. Some will not do anything spiritual on Sundays, will not salute the Loa, will not do anything particular as it relates to Guinan. Others do not discriminate against the day. They say, yes, Sunday is sacred to God. I will remember him and respect him, but every day I need to eat. In other words, they still do voodoo sant activities during this day. There are a variety of ways to serve the Loa on their sacred day, wearing their colors on their day, observing abstinence on that day, and singing and serving them with ceremony. People who are married to a Loa are obligated to observe the sacred day of that Loa. They may have to wear certain clothes, prepare their bed in a certain way, and do other things that signify the human spouse's sacred commitment. Monday is the second day of the week. This is also the day that many consider to be the beginning of the week. This day is sacred to the ancestors, Gede, and Legba. As the opening day, the same Loa that one must take care of before going on to other Loa are taken care of on this day. Think about it. After God, Sunday, one should have his or her ancestors taken care of. After they are taken care of, things will flow easily. I often say our ancestors are our front line of defense, including work with the deities. This is where Gede and the ancestors come in. Yet before one can call other Loa, one must salute Papa Legba. Legba is the gatekeeper, and he is the one who can open our doors or shut them as he may please. Many voodoo saints do some sort of daily devotional, especially voodoo saints whose main source of income is serving Guinan. In the process, one wakes them up, if you will, in order to get them working. They will also open the doors of the voodoo saint's home to receive clientele. There are a variety of ways that an individual may choose to wake them up. On Mondays, I make sure to remove all glasses of water from all the shrines. This water I toss outside the front door. I wash the glasses. I wash the coffee cups. I wash the liquor offerings and I reset them in their place afresh, anew. And I make Gede some new warm coffee and fill all the glasses with cool, fresh water. And then light a candle and pray. After this, I talk to my spirits. I give them their coffee and water, their food, their offerings. I may alternately libate rum to them, gin, depending on the occasion. I also make sure to refresh Ilegua, which is an Orisha I received in a separate practice from voodoo, Lukumi Santeria, and even those who are initiated in Nago tradition, Isheshe, operate and have Ilegwa or Eshu inside their homes. So voodoos also do things to live the tradition. One thing is that once you come into the tradition, your whole view of the world changes. How you get up in the morning and lay down at night changes. How you eat, how you sleep, often how we earn our living is dramatically sculpted by our commitment in our practice to the traditions. And so you will gain your footing, you will gain your balance, you will gain your unique and specific rhythm that is unique to you, that is unique to your bloodline, that is unique to your lineage, but is also unique to your training, your initiation, your education as it relates to ATR, Aboriginal traditional practices, religious, spiritual practices, and traditions. So we create this shared sacred space on weeknights at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time here with you and yours and my beloved co-host uh, and team member Elder Reggie, financial advisor and member of I'm sorry, no longer national, New Orleans International Voodoo Day, and my beloved sister wife and best friend and co-host, Sister Toni Val Martinez. Greetings to you and yours, Sister Toni.
Greetings. Hello, everyone. So happy to be here. How's everyone doing? Hey, Elder Reggie, how are you?
I'm good and happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you.
hmm
Eh, but how you doing, Prince?
Well, indeed, happy Mother's Day. Thank you for the reminder, Elder Reggie.
hmm
Um,
Why, thank you.
and certainly to you, Queen Mother, and to my natural Queen Mother, who I certainly acknowledged and communed with on yesterday. We didn't get to
hmm
see each other in the physical. My mother lives some great distance from me, but we did do the virtual thing, the phone thing, the texting thing, and I did put up a post in honor of my mother, um, produced by the Horn Brothers while they were here. And so, as always, I acknowledge my mother every day of the week. I don't know about you, but I talk to my mother several times a day, every day, without fail. We all have ring cameras. I can see inside my mama's residence as well as she can see inside of mine at any moment of the day and or night. So we have a really close and tight knit relationship. But certainly those mothers in the community that I had the ongoing relationship with and reaching out and showing them grace and honor, where grace and honor is reciprocated, you know,
hmm
and welcomed and allowed. And so we understand our black women to be God and certainly our mothers to be the first gods that we know coming into this existence. And then certainly acknowledging and honoring, that mother with that Iyami, that soul that stands up in each and every one of us as we connect to water energy and to the moon and to the divine feminine and certainly to our mothers.
hmm
Well, my last mission I was sent on was to find out if Michael B. Jordan was a Babalawo. I dug long
hmm
and hard And all I could find was a bunch of people calling him a Satanist and a devil worshiper, and it was our own black people. But as far as me finding any actual evidence of this, I could not find anything on his religion, anybody in his family's religion. And that's kind of strange because when somebody's a successful actor, they got people who get paid to dig up this kind of stuff on them. But
Mhm.
apparently, this has been a real guarded. I mean, I couldn't even find out what his parents was, what none of his, I mean, is no mention nowhere of their spirituality. They say they're not religious, they spiritual. That's all I could
Mhm.
find. And that was from another interview that he gave when he was younger. So I guess it remains to be seen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And some suggested that it was just a ploy to further promote the movie. We certainly don't know how true that is or is not, but the timing is certainly suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically what I had been putting all my energy into studying and watching a lot of YouTube on was South Africa because of these supposed refugees who running here from being killed in South Africa.
Mhm.
So I must admit, since apartheid ended, I really hadn't thought about South Africa that much as far as the people, what they doing now and everything. So I had to, I got to find some information with him standing up there screaming, these people getting killed in the streets. Oh, Lord.
Well, I certainly, had my involvement with, the Free Mandela movement and, so the excitement that we experienced back in the day here about South Africa, even had the opportunity to meet and befriend um, some uh, some brothers from South Africa who were in California at the time. Actually, at the time around the Rodney King uprising, and two of them actually were on the street with us that first night during the actual beginning of the uprising. So I have a little connection, and therefore have always kept my ear close to the ground in terms of South Africa, and they're much easier accessible today than they were, let's say, 2006 when we were online. Certainly, you see South Africans every day in TikTok. If you know how to tap into South African TikTok, gay, straight, religious, non-religious, just the gamut. And I see South Africa to have some what we might call progressive elements. Their treatment of the LGBTQ community, their acceptance of indigenous and aboriginal spiritual practice. South Africa, I believe, is number one on the list of countries in Africa that have witchcraft, that practice witchcraft, that promote witchcraft, as well as aboriginal and indigenous spiritual practices. But I say witchcraft in particular because it carries that pop cultural meaning with it, and not just from a Western perspective. Again, we are talking about South Africa, very different um, place, very different country. Now, this racial thing has continued to sort of mimic our racial history, and sort of the masking and the cover up and the can we all just get along and the faked, if not forced, um, societal integration, that has taken place since Mandela was president up until today. So I've been paying attention to that as well. And it's and one more thing, and it's not you know necessarily one of the safest regions to experience being in the urban areas, being in the cities. There's still a great deal of conflict, in South Africa. But them, shipping out, these immigrants, which certainly looks pre-planned to me. These things typically don't happen quickly or overnight. Even in the case of war, Vietnam, Hitler. I mean, just pull any war, Korea, out of the last, 100 years, and look at the timing in terms of, evacuating people out and certainly, taking people in to protect them and give them this new quote unquote American life that the orange potato, is now denying other ethnic groups, kicking others out of the country. But come on in, we also have to look at that odd synchronicity with Elon Musk. Is it from South Africa?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And so this certainly doesn't seem sudden or spontaneous to me. This seemed well thought out, well planned. It even feels, now I'm doing a little psychic reading. It even feels a bit like some sort of offering, some sort of agreement. You helped me get the presidency, and there's still the rumor, the conspiracy that, the satellites that started falling out of the sky had some connection to possible, manipulation in the voting system. And, it's all kind of directions the story can go in. But it's no coincidence. It's no random act of kindness, that he's now bringing in and protecting these South Africans. Um, with the state of the world, being as it is right now, with the state of Nazism and white supremacy and, you know, anarchy being, what it is right now. It definitely is something to watch.
Yeah, and Mr. Elon Musk, apartheid baby, with his grandfather being the grand poobah of the
Mhm.
South African Ku Klux Klan, and his daddy being who he is, a little freaky. Um, he got children with his stepdaughter that he raised since she was 9 years old. And there's another new city. Louisiana got another new city not too long after our new governor came in, and they made a new city right outside of Baton Rouge, where a large majority of the white Baton Rouge population did an exodus to this new city.
Yeah. The name would be St. George.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Elon Musk has made a new city in Texas.
Mm.
And the name of that city is Starbase. And he's pushing out the closest little communities that's surrounding this area, because it actually is a base there where he makes rockets and launches rockets and tests rockets. And some people do live there that work for Starlink because they have to maintain it. But now all of a sudden he wants to make this city complete with schools and grocery stores. And he's pushing out the residents that have been living there for decades. He has given them a sell now or you be in trouble later.
Mm-hmm.
So right now they got about 20 people that's holding out on the closest city that he wants to take over. And these are some pretty nice houses and stuff. And to me, I think he's doing, and he building more houses. They got buku trailers there already. And I'm kind of thinking this is where they're going to put those Afrikaners at.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just going to throw them in with the rest of the Americans. That would be a real culture shock to them. But I was looking in the crowd of the people that came, and it's a lot of young people that looked like PYT. I'm serious.
I've seen that too. Yeah, it's something up with that. Some kind of deal was cut, as Divine said, between Trump, Elon Musk, and the rest of them. They pillaged and raped South Africa and took all the wealth out of the place. And that's just a front. Another way of hiding the money, the diamonds, whatever they have done. Yeah.
And it's a way of they getting rid of the people of color, and they need to import some more white people. And who could be more whiter than white South Africans?
Right. Which by way of the Dutch. They're Dutch
Yes.
origin. Yes.
And I'm waiting for the male order brides to start coming in from the Ukraine and wherever Trump wife come from and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Trump is giving all of his close buddies favors. He got the South Africans coming over here. He got Rubio making threats against Cuba. That's for Rubio. You know, he going against this, that, and the other thing for JD. I mean, you just follow the money.
Right.
And
Now
listen, they are fleeing discrimination and racial based violence, supposedly.
yeah, they're killing them in the streets.
So what then are they leaving South Africa to? To what? Govern itself? To self-combust? I'm just not.
Well,
And we're
from
only
all the
talking 59.
documentaries I've watched, I don't see nobody getting nothing. I mean, even the black South Africans are not doing them what they did the black South Africans during apartheid. They
That's
pretty much
right.
seem to leave them alone. And in South Africa, they still got all white towns
Yep.
that black people can't even enter. I just posted one of those on my page. And then of course they got the homeless. The trailer parks, as you could call it, but they don't have trailers. And it looks no different than poor areas, poor whites in Mississippi. And then you got areas that was abandoned, like abandoned apartment complexes and stuff, that black and white squatters then took over side by side next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm really not seeing the racial tension either. They still got whites with their big plantation houses. They still got some whites that help run the country along with the blacks. I looked into their welfare system because I bet you these people coming over here was all on welfare recipients. So I said, do South Africa even have welfare? So I looked into that. They got a better welfare system than the United States.
Mm.
And so far, it's only 59 that arrived. When? Today? This afternoon?
Yeah.
But we are still really, outside of the said racial discrimination and violence. I'm just not seeing the footprint for what's really happening.
It looked like the United States to me, pretty much. They got the whites over there that think the blacks in this, and they got the blacks over there. It's no, to me, from looking at the people going in, actually talking to the people that's living there, talking to blacks and whites, and going to these places like Johannesburg in the city, seeing the progress. They got affirmative action there, where black people, if they qualified, they get the job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They competing against black people for jobs. They got some of them, like this one lady would say, well, it's karma. Look at what our fathers did to them. Now we paying for it. She said she living in a squatter's camp that used to be a park. You know, so Trump full of bull. They trying to bring in some more white people. They gonna have more planes. But you notice differently from other refugees that came to the United States, like the Vietnamese. They came in military aircraft loaded to the teeth to military bases. They came in by boats. I mean, just hundreds of them. But these refugees came on chartered airliners to an airport.
Right.
All of them got brand new luggage.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
You know, so they're not even
I'll
coming
put you
in the way of refugees that come, that's fleeing some kind of war. They're not fleeing a war. It's no war going on. You know,
Yes,
they
indeed.
just got some PWT there that they want to pull up out of. And I can see it's going to be more planes. It's going to be more planes, but they got to get it ain't been 6 months since Trump been working on this. And they tried to make, I think it was the Pentecostal church, help with the resettling of them, to do all the paperwork and get them in their houses and get the furniture and stuff, like Associated Catholic Charity did with the Vietnamese.
Yeah.
And the Pentecostal church group that normally handle refugees told them no. Flat out say, we're not doing it. So now Trump gonna be going after them.
Yes, indeed.
So we got a lot of stuff to look at in these coming weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. It's just I can't say what I want to say, but we running out of time, y'all.
Yes, indeed. Elder Reggie, did you want to close out?
Very interesting show, and I've been keeping up with the latest information on that too. I'm not well versed as Sister Toni is, but I'm watching it to see what things go. But I would say we got to continue to pray, stay protected, stay even killed, and this shall pass also.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, they will. And Elder Reggie, you can go on my Facebook page, Toni Val Martinez, ToniVal Martinez, and I put up the most simplest of the information that I try to put up, but yet and still to give you the most information on a given subject. So I'm putting some videos up now regarding his saying they getting killed in the street and everything. Plus I have some more stuff, and I like to verify all my stuff before I put it up.
Okay.
and do some research into it. So you could go there and check it out.
And I will. Before we close out, I still see America with Trump being at the head, becoming a fascist state. Slowly but surely, our rights are being eroded. They are daily messing over people of color around this country, the police, some of these special forces. So this country is heading in the wrong direction. And these South Africans, they got a background of misusing black people too. So he's bringing in people with experience, even though there was a lot of young kids came, but their parents may be coming later. But they have a lot of experience at dealing with this stuff. And they have no sympathy, they have no compassion for people of color. And we got to watch this. This is what Trump and them is setting up. That Agenda 2025 is real and they're executing it.
Yeah. And, you know, we could talk some more about it tomorrow, but like I said, our time is up. We overtime tonight. So, and I'll keep doing
Yes.
some research into this and posting more information. Anybody that's interested, you could go on my Facebook page. I have a lot of information on there, and it's quick and easy, short. So I want to say good night to everybody on my end.
All right. Good night.
Good night, everyone, and please
Brian.
continue.
Good night, yes.
Go ahead, Elder Reggie.
No, I was saying good night also, and we just got to stay vigilant. Yes.
Yes, indeed. And we look forward to joining you again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Petro Tuesday, for another edition of Voodoo Hoodoo 101, Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. Please continue to visit our website at www.voodooday.org, VODOUDAY.org, for more updates and coming information about our third annual International New Orleans Voodoo Day, May 9th and May 10th of 2026. So until then, remember that all is truly and indeed a blessing if you can just see beyond the veils. And no matter what you do, respect the voodoo. Good night, all. Odabo.
Everything that everybody loves about New Orleans is because of Black people.
You're going to get that fit. You're going to get your hair done. You're going to get your nails done. And you're going to be with your crew. And we're going to be out here in these streets freely being gay. It is the way New Orleans allows you to step out and be yourself.
Bringing history and tradition and culture together.
Right? I love that I see everything that's beautiful in New Orleans, from our food. You go to a second line.
This journey has been one hell of a roller coaster.